Okay, so you can just, now they can just be as written if
Okay.
everything's okay with everybody else. You guys wanna sign
Oh,
in?
sure.
I guess you only have to if you talk, so
Okay.
are you gonna talk?
They might ask us a question or two.
Okay.
I don't know. Thinking probably. Banks
Just put
Township.
yes.
Okay, sure. Someday, Mom, here's for you.
Oh, it's been back.
Yeah.
It just was not a process.
So now they're seeking the,
We're just trying to clear it all out. Take it off.
I thought they were
Move up here?
I want it.
2022 and they were waiting.
No.
Yeah. Well, they've been coming
I think
50
it was
years.
something-
The draft of January, there wasn't something that switched.
Yes, that's our changing.
So this
Yes,
is
they have. We've been here for,
a motion.
since
Motion
'83.
approved.
I don't know how many years that
It's the
is.
same
but-
size.
Things have changed a lot.
I mean,
41.
Thank you.
My son's was born. And let's see, I'll just write your name down, okay, Gabby, or you want to?
you can do it. And you replace it with a 35-foot. That would be a
I
no-no.
added you to the minutes from last time that you were videotaping, so if you're in there.
That answers my question.
How
How you doing? Good.
Hi,
Tyler.
Tyler.
Hey. Hi there.
Tyler, good evening, how are you? Good, thanks. Good, good to see you. Thank you.
Frank here.
I did not hear from Frank.
Assume he'll be here. We got.
If
three
he
tonight,
doesn't
so-
show up, we're good though, yes? Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have it, make sure he speaks up. Huh?
Where is Timberlane Terrace?
What, I'm sorry?
Where's Timberlane Terrace?
Right down the old, flat road, Old Dixie Highway,
Okay,
yeah.
is it on the lake side or the
Yeah.
other side?
Yeah.
Right,
it's
right,
just
that
last
silo.
day.
You know the silo is down there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody called me at work today and said her name was Katie.
I
I
don't
said, how do you spell that? She
Pay
said,
attention to the names of all those
You
roads.
probably don't
along
get over there
I
too
go
much.
down Dixie pretty often.
Yeah.
we don't get her over now.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock. So,
Yes, it is.
meeting called to order.
I can't believe it. I haven't had this on for months.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you for caring enough about your township to show up, be present, and partake in your civic responsibilities. So thank you. We have Gabby here, Urbanavich, recording our meetings, and I just want to make one addition to, a correction to the minutes, and I already forwarded that to Cindy. Gabby is recording our meetings, and our meetings can now be viewed on YouTube at Banks Citizens United for Zoning. So you added that to the minutes, and are there any other edits or corrections to the minutes that you are aware of from our April 8th meeting?
I don't have any, no.
Okay. With that, I would take a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
I will make that motion. Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, super. Cindy, any announcements or correspondence?
We got the email, Alex forwarded it to me for the DeRue property. That was the only thing that we got.
Email with the photos?
Mhm.
Oh, is that what you're referring to?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, nothing else? Okay. At this time, we would take public comment, if there is any public comment. You'll have an opportunity later too.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. All right, moving on to standing reports. From Anita, the zoning board of appeals has not met. They only meet as needed. And then that would take us next to you, Curtis, zoning administrator.
Yeah, and on the ZBA, I think they're shooting for June 4 for an
Oh.
issue.
Okay,
So that'll probably be on for the next meeting.
yeah.
So the zoning report, again, continues to be light. I've had a few more zoning permits, pole barn types things, and, but nothing really significant. Working on a couple land divisions, but those aren't really zoning issues, it's more of a, got one of them that's finally just about done. Oh, shoot. I think I missed a meeting.
Oh,
It just hit me, like, oh, yeah. Well, I'll have to call
they
them.
know your number.
I'll have to, yeah, could have called me. Other than that, no, I could just speak to any questions on this issue with
Okay.
Timberland if you have, when you get to that. So
Okay.
other than that, I really don't have much else.
Okay, thank you. And then that would take us to you, Richard, for Township Board Rep. Highlights from your last meeting.
Okay, thank you. The township hired a new attorney, but it's really a continuation of, it's the company that bought out the existing, or the previous attorney, which was the Young Graham Group from Bel Air. The name of the new group is Bauchman, Thal, Sieber, Kaufman, and Kolks, or something like that. So we interviewed a couple different ones, but we were unanimous on choosing them again. They're actually gonna have an office in Charlevoix. They already do have an office. It's not staffed all the time yet, but they are moving in that direction. We're continuing to work a lot on road improvements, looking at quotes. We got quotes since our last meeting for Toad Lake. We'll probably be acting on that next week at this month's meeting. Lake Shore Drive is an ongoing thing that we are still working on, no decision there. And then the 6 Mile Lake, we're hoping to add the village portion into what is already going to be done outside the village for sure this season. But we're still looking at quotes and trying to get that together, hoping for a 3-way split between the county, road commission, the township, and the village in order to make that happen. Probably of the most interest to this board is that we didn't take any action on the soil extraction ordinance because we had again, a very long meeting, 3 hours, and by the time we got to that, it was at the end of the agenda. We decided to table it. So we'll be working on that this week. I mean, this month, next week.
Okay, yeah, next meeting,
That's it.
next Monday, okay.
Yep.
Very good, thank you. Okay, Ken, Rebecca, and Raider.
Want to introduce my colleague Ruben Shell. He has worked with Banks Township before, and he's going to be back to assist. There was a planning report in the packet, and I thought it was interesting that there's a House bill to amend the Land Division Act to provide more flexibility to communities to allow more splits than the current act would allow. So, kind
To
of
allow or to
Mandate.
require? I mean, require that you, how do I phrase what I want to say? You know what I'm going for.
Yeah. I know what you're
I
saying.
don't think it would require the township to do anything, but it would allow the township to allow,
If they wanted to,
if they wanted
tighten it or loosen it, they could.
Yes.
But not necessarily.
but I haven't looked, that's the way that the article reads. I haven't
Curious.
looked at the actual bill yet.
Thank you. Okay, unfinished business, master plan 5-year revision. So, last time we looked at reviewing community services and natural resources, those 2 chapters, and then we did find a couple things that we wanted to tweak on that. Ken sent us a red line version of that. And I have just one thing, Ken, and it would be on the very first page, under community service.
Okay.
And it talks, the last sentence in there talks about water and sewer considering development. And didn't we say that that really wasn't a realistic, at the end, let me find it.
The second paragraph under water and sewage?
Yes.
Well,
it's-
it says that the village of Ellsworth is considering development, and I think they still are.
The village is, but we didn't want to open it up as a whole township, as that would be an astronomical
Right.
cost.
And in the natural resources chapter, we changed the goal. That was on page, I think it's 17. 18, yeah, we had a goal in there that maybe the township would team up with the village on that project, and we took that out. Because
Okay.
that was what we were thinking was maybe unrealistic
Okay,
for the township to participate. But we can take that out as well, but I do believe the village unilaterally is still pursuing that.
okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I think to leave that in is realistic and appropriate. Guys, anything else on community resources and, excuse me, yeah, community services and natural resources?
There was one area that it should have been road instead of rod. I'm trying to find it.
Page 18, little typo,
Okay,
fifth sentence, road commission, I think is what was meant.
definitely.
Outside of that, no, everything else we discussed was either removed or amended
Okay.
that I saw.
Wasn't.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now what do we do?
So if we're comfortable with these revisions, we'll, move those on into the completed column. We've got another new chapter to look at tonight. I know we still have to look at the future land use map, and I think, if we do that at next month's meeting, we'll be through all the chapters. And then what we'll do is we'll compile everything into a complete draft and bring that back maybe for the July meeting.
Okay,
And then, once the planning commission approves that draft, we'll have a public hearing. And then first we'll have to send it out to the surrounding communities. They have, so many days to comment on it. Once that's complete, the planning commission will hold a public hearing, and after that, it will go on to the township board.
okay. And then they get a crack at it.
Right.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, moving on then. B, amendment to Article 12 zoning ordinance transitory extraction of natural resources. Is there anything we need to do with that tonight? We just are waiting on the
Yeah.
township board.
Yep, and I
Okay.
think we got the update on that.
All right. And then discussion of draft, so next would be discussion of draft amendment to footnote of section 9 zoning ordinance.
Right. And last month, we talked about us doing some research to determine the average size of the parcels in the ag district. There's a little memo and a map. So we did that, and it looks like the average size is 12.72 acres. So looking at that, to me, it makes the footnote maybe makes more sense, but the minimum area for a parcel in the ag district at 20,000 square feet maybe doesn't. I do note in the memo, there are 39 parcels that are smaller, that are 1 acre in size, and then there's one that's even smaller than that. But the way this reads is the minimum square footage for a lot is 20,000 square feet. But you're not really allowed to split a larger parcel down to that minimum square footage, the way that footnote is written. You have to have, density can't be less than 2 lots per 20 acres.
Yeah, let me interject
Yeah.
on the one that's going on right now that really pushed this.
Yeah,
And they've had their survey done now and everything, and the way they've decided to, break it up, I forget the numbers, but they were going to have 2 parcels out of a 20.
okay,
And then the other ones was gonna be including, it was gonna work. It was gonna work with that wording. I thought, well, that's great that you made that happen,
yeah,
just because this is complicated, but, so in this current case, we're gonna be fine as it's written.
Okay.
But, yeah, again, like we talked on that minimum size, just refresh my memory, what's the minimum size in a CR?
20,000 square feet,
Okay. So that's the same,
yeah,
which makes a little more sense, I think,
yeah.
a case like that.
I mean, it's just, we don't have to make any changes, but I think the question that comes up, if somebody owns a 20-acre parcel in ag, the minimum lot size for a new parcel is 20,000 square feet. So, if it were me, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I could split this multiple times, but that footnote wouldn't let you do
Right.
that.
Okay.
It would,
That
it
would,
would,
that would
yeah.
restrict it to, there's only 2 pieces coming out of that 20.
In ag, this is
In
specific to ag.
Just ag,
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah. Which is all about the master plan and conserving,
large chunks.
farmland and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's, as you're doing the master plan, I think that's a good thing to have in the back of your head. How much emphasis do you wanna continue to put on that? And if you wanna maintain that, then, that can be addressed, in that chart.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just still, again, when the board approved that, or the planning commission approved that and sent it on before, there's obviously a reason for that. I wasn't here, so I really don't know the background on making it those size requirements. But I'm just trying to look at it going forward because even then, we didn't have the situation we've got now, where land prices have gone up so high, and people are looking at that as an asset and saying, well, maybe I really don't need this much, maybe we can sell some of this and, use it, other means.
I had a little feedback from a landowner that was in favor of keeping it at the 20,000. They said the intent there was to allow a residence without taking more ag land away. So if you had a 20-acre parcel or a 40, and you could only do one split, you could still do that little 20-acre lot, and now you're out of splits. But that way you can just have a small parcel with a house on it out by the road and farm the rest.
Right.
I know it used to be 2 acres, but I don't know when that changed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's kind
2
of
acres
where,
is actually plenty big. I mean, years
Yeah.
ago, we carved out a couple different 2-acre pieces, and it's just almost unnecessarily big, really, for a,
well, yeah, and
Depending
especially if you
house.
have it within the confines of just 2 per 20. Then you're talking, well, I got a 2 and an 18.
right,
Well, is that really much different than a 19 and a half and a half?
right,
Not really,
no,
because you're looking at just having a spot for a residence. So,
right. So I don't think we should change it, actually.
Okay.
It's been done this way, and there's some
And I'm
reason.
fine with that.
You're okay with it going
Yeah.
forward? I mean, the one thing that I thought of too is the 20,000 square feet allows the smaller parcels to not be non-conforming lots. But then the footnote prevents the creation of smaller parcels, so that the farmland the open spaces are retained, the larger lots are retained.
Yeah, and you don't end up, if the wording is wrong, you don't end up with 4 half-acre pieces out in the middle of farming country that, affect that. So I guess from that perspective, letting it sink in for a while, maybe leave it alone.
Okay. Yeah.
We can always revisit it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted you to have clarity on it, because you're
Yeah.
an enforcer of it.
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to new business. Just let me get my spot here. We have before us an application for non-conforming request for lot 31 Timberlane Terrace. We were sent a letter from Peter Wendling, Township Council, who essentially said that this lot has to be grandfathered in. We were sent, let's see, 3 pieces of information. That was his opinion. We were sent pictures showing us that essentially the replacement is the same size, dimensions weren't given, but you'll have to look at pictures and discern yourself. I wanna say this right. So from Peter, he said, "The planning commission shall permit any structure to be returned to its prior use, provided there is no increase in the intensity of non-conforming use, and providing there is no increase in square footage of the non-conforming structure." Let's see, I'll turn it over to you. Anything else you wanna add?
Okay, if I can just to try to clarify and make this pretty simple. it's, you know, it's a, the DeRue property has been a tempest in a teapot for quite a few years from time to time. And what happened was, you know, the resulting rewriting of the RV ordinance and all of that stuff. So there's a couple issues here that boiled down. One of them was the use. And as it was determined, when we were in court last December in front of the judge, it's been ruled that they're allowed to continue to do what they do, do what they've been doing down there, because it's been so many years, because they've, what's the verbiage right now?
Grandfathered in.
What's that?
She
Yeah,
said
grandfathered, or they've been doing it for X number of years. So they're allowed to continue under the previous zoning, okay? So they're not drawn into the new verbiage. Since it's less than 1 acre down there, if it was anybody else, they would only be allowed 1, right? And it's not till you get to 3 acres where you can have 2 for a little extended time. And then, is it 5 acres for 4, something like that, whatever that is, that doesn't really apply here anyway. So they're grandfathered in to continue using the property under the old ordinance, right? Which means they can have up to, they can have the use of it with the RVs that were there. There's an old green one, and then there was another one there that was there predetermined, and that's the one that was damaged, actually pretty much destroyed in a wind damage. Okay, that was they replaced that. Now there was a little confusion, I think, and misunderstanding and communication along the way on that process. Well, we've worked through all that to the point where what they need to do is they need to apply to the planning commission, or they need to seek approval from the planning commission based on the things you already said about the same size. They're allowed to replace that. Now, if they had a 15-foot travel trailer down there and it got destroyed by a tree and they replaced it with a 35-foot mobile home, that would be a no-go, okay? Because you're increasing the nonconformity, all right? So the issue before you guys has nothing to do with the use of the property under which ordinance. You're not talking about any of that tonight. That's all been determined. They know what they know what their limits are. What you have to do is basically, someone needs to move to accept their application to replace the previous RV with this new one, under the provisions of the non-conforming B. And in my opinion, while we don't have exact numbers of what the previous RV was, I mean, dare I say it's close enough to my judgment, to fall within, it's reasonable, okay? So it's my recommendation that someone move, you pass it, it's done, and then it's on record that they did this, so that if anybody has an issue down the road later, no, this was passed by the planning commission on May, whatever it is today, 13 of 2025.
Okay.
So does that explain it?
Everybody clear on that?
Yep.
Okay, so what we're looking for is a motion to approve non-conformance request of lot 31, Timberlane Terrace. A motion to approve their application for non-conforming B.
I will make that motion. If I need to restate it, I'll try to.
I know.
Otherwise, you just said it.
Cindy,
And I
clean
would
that up,
say,
Cindy.
I would say which includes the replacement of the previous RV,
Okay.
just to make it clear. You know, is that,
Replacing it with one of approximately the same size.
yeah. Sound legit to you, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote something, but,
I would listen to that.
okay, so what,
Talk slow.
what I came up with was in accordance with section 4.02 of the zoning ordinance, I approve the replacement of an RV destroyed by act of God with a new RV that does not increase the intensity of the non-conforming uses on the property.
That's why we pay them the big bucks.
I can-
That's exactly what I meant.
I knew it.
Right there.
oh, you're not reading my-
Yes, I did.
Is there a second for that?
I'll carry it, I'll second that.
All in favor, say
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay.
As soon as the meeting's done, I'll switch your email.
No worries.
Are you up to speed, Cindy?
Yep, I got a picture, I got words.
Okay. All right, very good.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I don't
Thank
think you
you.
need them anymore, do you?
We do not unless.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you all so much. It was very nice.
Yeah, that's it, they did it, they approved it.
So I can relax.
You can relax now, before saying. Here.
Yeah, I'll email you before I leave tonight.
Oh, for you, I'm good. Yeah, sometimes I get too much help. There you go.
Okay. Good night, all.
Thank you so much.
All right, next item of business is to review the existing land use chapter. That was part of the package.
And this is a new chapter that
Mhm.
hasn't been seen before. It's based on the current chapter in the existing master plan, but we obviously updated the data and, you know, modified it slightly in a way that we think is, you know, more consistent with best practices and, you know, for master plans.
Okay. I read through this and I thought, what a beautiful little community. It's worded so wonderfully. It makes us shine. I read through this and there was nothing that caught my eye in terms of, any edits or corrections that I would make. And I am open to discussion on that with your thoughts.
I kind of felt the same way. There wasn't anything that I saw that it was glaring needs to be changed. I enjoyed the pictures from Google Maps.
Make sure and have some real pictures will go out.
No, I thought it was fun. I thought to myself, where did they get these? Till I read the footnote on the bottom, and I go, oh, okay, they nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, these are in a Word document just for review. When it comes back as a finalized draft, we'll have the table numbers, we'll have the page numbers, we'll have updated pictures. And then the planning commission will also be able to determine whether we need different pictures or more pictures, or, you know, we need a picture of this, take out that picture.
Okay. Yeah, the pictures actually are great too. Richard, I'll give you another minute to look through and put your 2 cents in, so just take your time.
Ken, just an off question for you. Has there really been that many issues with potential septic systems within the township where I've read it now 3 or 4 times where perking's a little bit of a struggle and that more evolved septic systems are required more often than not? Does anyone know the history of that, or has that been a common theme, or is that just due to regulation?
It's a common theme that is due to regulation.
Okay.
And that, you know, state laws are getting more stringent on that, county ordinances are getting more stringent, so they're requiring updated septic systems that are less likely to fail and, you know, seep into bodies of water and groundwater and those types of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just, to me, no, that's my background, right? So to me, it seems as though it's not a scaring thing, but could make people a little apprehensive of being up here. But in reality, it's not like we're still seeing a lot of raised beds where you're spending, 100% more than you're just digging deeper trenches and providing more of a shelf there before it starts to get into virgin ground again, and then work through the shelf system. So I read it from someone like, it goes back to the point where you had said originally, developers read this, people wanting to move up to the community. We want it to seem inviting, and while there are some challenges there, we want to tiptoe the fine line with that. And it was like the third or fourth time I read it, and to me, you know, yeah, everything's a little bit more expensive, but a raised bed system is going to be $75,000 for a 3 or 4 bedroom home, whereas a standard system now, you're still in the $15,000 to $20,000 range, and that's a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like you have to go up to that next tier, and it's a third of the value of a home or a quarter of the value of the home, whatever that might be. Just want it to be as inviting as it can be to people and share what we have, which is pretty special up here.
Okay. Yeah, we can review those chapters in there and you know, reword them to be that way, to recognize it, but to not scare people off and, you know, make it sound like, okay, you're gonna be forced to incur a significant expense, you know, that type of thing.
Okay, thank you. Just a
Yeah,
thought.
I would agree, Tyler, there's a real high value put upon the preservation of our cleanness of our water
Yeah.
in that, and that's not wrong. It is strongly emphasized, and I wouldn't know how to suggest tweaking that though.
Yeah, and that's where I didn't want to make it seem like I was nitpicking or anything. Just something that I read, you know, and trying to change my mindset as I'm reading it as someone who might not be from around here. I don't know the details, you know, and how granular it needs to be or how to rewrite it. Just my sharing my thoughts, really.
Okay. We'll review it, and then when it all comes back for, you know, review of the final draft, you know, the planning commission will have a chance to look at it again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you look at these, the maps, it's shocking how wet, how much water there is. I know I might drive around a lot around water. We drive around a lot of water, but it's pretty wet. Okay, I guess that's it. No public comment because they left. So. Gabby, anything from? Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
Just when did, last question for you, Ken, the adopt new building code, I've been reading a lot about it. I haven't seen anything going into effect in the next 120 days. When did that article come out? I didn't click on it, so shame on me.
That's a good question. I didn't focus on that.
I should know the answer to this. It probably
Yeah,
shouldn't even be
I'll
speaking
have to
up
look at
about
it too, because I didn't click on the link as well.
Okay.
You know, I don't write these little memos, you know,
Okay.
the company does. So yeah, I focused on the land division one and didn't focus on that one. But I'll have to click on the article myself, see when that is gonna come out, and we can maybe have some info on that at the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. They're not making it any easier.
Okay, that's all I have.
Do we need a motion?
We do need a motion to
I'll make a
adjourn.
motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.